Hail and well met. Welcome to
Hey.
the pre-game hangout. You may have noticed immediately a special guest who is with us tonight. That is the illustrious Ed Greenwood, who has done a few things that you might be familiar with. Otherwise, we also have Rhiannon and Allie and Randy, and we are bringing to you a special Tales of the Westgate Irregulars, but that will happen in half an hour. And until that time, we are just going to hang out and chat. So, how's
And kitty.
everybody doing? Oh, and cats. Yes, there are
Yeah.
kitties.
There are kitties.
When there are kitties in my stream, they won't come on camera, so I'm always very disappointed.
Yeah. This one is very. She claims her lap. She claims my lap as her own. So this is. Or are you just gonna stare at me?
She's like,
Very
what do you
cat
mean?
look.
What do you mean we're on camera? It doesn't matter.
She doesn't care. She does not care. Oh wow, it's my 31 month subiversary. Look at that.
Wow. Excellent. Well, thank you for your support. You're one of our original fans and now part of the crew. That's pretty amazing.
Yes, I am psyched about that. Look at this. Ah, little bub. All right, well, if you're gonna be like this, you get to.
There we go. Front and center. Hello, kitty.
Yes. Hello. She is angry at me now.
Yeah.
You have debased me in front of all the people. Bah!
Yes. That is her overall demeanor, yes. Like there's like two kinds of cats that I've seen. There's the imperious diva, like this one, and then there's idiots. big lovable fluffy morons, and I love them.
Yeah, no, that tracks with my experience with my cats too.
I have the third kind as well, the schemer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. The one that appears asleep or old and decrepit until you get too close.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's always something going on in her eyes. You can see like she's always plotting something. She acts sweet, and you're like, what do you want?
One of my cats is just extremely handsome, and he uses that to get away with things. Like he knows you're not going to stay angry at him.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, but look at me. Oof. And it always works. It always works. What
sure
a jerk.
Mad.
Inspiration for Sarshan.
Oh yeah. Sure you're mad, but have you seen how pretty I am?
Right.
It's never worked for me, darn it.
The dog gets jealous. Like she will actually police the cats. When they're up on the counter or something, she'll just start whining like, I'm not allowed to go up there. Why are they allowed to go up there?
Why?
It's great. It's great.
Grump, grump, grump.
So, Ed, how are things up in the frozen north these days?
Well, at the moment, they're being slightly frozen. We're having a new snowstorm, and it is bitterly cold out there because of the wind chill. However, we're in full thaw because I have a sump pump under the house that keeps the library and the basement from filling up with water, and it's been running nonstop for the last week. Which means
wow.
We're in thaw.
Wow.
Its normal way of running is to stay off until the sump fills up, and then it shoots a jet of water across the lawn, quite startling the cat. And instead, it's just been sort of gently peeing out the wall constantly, 24/7 for a week. So we're in a thaw. But otherwise, Canada is being Canada.
I see.
It's the time of year when we go, God, I wish I lived somewhere warmer.
Meanwhile, I have the air conditioning on because it's somewhere warmer.
Hello, yes. Well, yes.
No. Yeah, it's summer here, so it's getting a little toasty.
Well, your typical Canadian just grows hair all over their bodies, so they can stroll to the compost heap in the all together and go, "Hi, fellas, it's cold out here. Get me a beer." To prove how manly we are. Right. And then the beer is frozen solid, and you pop it open, and there's no liquid. You put it in your armpit and go inside. Wait half an hour so you can drink it. There you go. Nice. I'm keeping the Canadian stories somewhat clean.
Yeah, some of our viewers are also from Canada, so shout out to Canada.
I'm also a dual citizen, but
oh,
my family lived in Victoria, so I mean, southern BC.
The climate friendly part of Canada.
Yes.
Excellent. I didn't know that about you, Rhiannon.
Yes, my mother, actually, interesting fun fact. My mother was the Canadian citizen, and then she moved to the US and married my father, and she just the other week got her US citizenship. Sort of thinking about like Social Security and if my dad wasn't around and all that sort of stuff. So it was very interesting getting her perspective on Canadian white 70s, like the whole process of getting citizenship. And then she said that one of the young women in her group was clearly Latina and was just so happy to be there, like reciting the oath or whatever. So that was really fun to hear about.
Nice.
And if you ever want to see unreformed 1960s hippies, go the other side, go a little bit up from Victoria to the northern Gulf Islands, Denman and Hornby, and there they live in all their splendor. Round hobbit doors, feeding they go out into the backyard and feed condors in the morning. It's.
You said North Victoria. I was thinking Nanaimo. I've been to Nanaimo. I have family near there, but I mean, it's no Great Shakes.
No, not Campbell River, not Nanaimo, not Port Alberti, the northern Gulf Islands. It was really fun. Yeah. My wife and I went there and found a lovely potter's studio, and we came back to the car with our purchases, and there were two naked women strolling unconcernedly across the parking lot with fishing poles. I thought, I've died and gone to heaven. Clothing optional.
Nice. It starts already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they had a couple of seasons of Alone, which is a survival show that were on Vancouver Island, actually sort of on the I think the West Coast.
The cold, wild part, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the graveyard of the Pacific, so you can't like get your boats in there particularly, so there's not much out there. But and one very much got the sense that they were like, I can survive. There's no snow. There's no this. There's no that. And then they get soaked, and then it's like upper 30s, and they're approaching hyperthermia.
Yep.
And they're like, wait.
This is the pattern of every Alone season. 10 people show up and they're like, we know what we're doing. We're going to be fine. We're not going to be concerned about the weather. I'm going to, shoot me a bear and I'm going to survive. And then like day 2, it's down from 10 to 8 people because one person got cold, one person heard animals and is like, nope, I'm out. And then they'll slowly diminish from there to like 3 or 4 who are there for like an additional 50 days.
Yeah.
Right.
And that shtick in the beginning of the second released Star Wars movie, where you cut up the beast on the frozen planet and climb into its entrails to stay warm. Yeah. Native people do that all the time. And I have a native granddaughter who she's now 26, so she won't appreciate this, but at the age of toddlerhood in her little parka would wade into the middle of the moose carcass, getting blood all over her because she wanted to get the heart. Because it's the choicest bit to eat.
Amazing.
And legally in Canada, natives are allowed to take roadkill. As in everything. But what they really like to do is follow a transport truck driver along the road who doesn't know how to drive. And each moose he hits, they just pick it up off the road behind him and throw it in the truck.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do things a little differently up there in Canada.
Well, I think the wolf sanctuary eats the roadkill around here. when they scrape it off the road just because of, like, you know, not being a traffic hazard. I think they deliver it to the wolf sanctuary and places like that.
That does make sense.
Things I learned at my day job. Because I work for an environmental consulting firm, for anybody in the chat who doesn't know. And so one of the things that we were doing is that for wind farms, they monitor to make sure that there aren't bird fatalities. And to sort of like calibrate that, they'll often do a thing where they take a bird carcass and they put it out there to see, like, do scavengers scavenge it too quickly for people to see? So like if there was a fatality, it would be eaten before we go out and look, or does it decay, or like that sort of thing. And there was apparently like a great deal of trouble getting carcasses because we want wild birds if we can get them, so like, you know, bird strikes or roadkill or whatever, but they couldn't get those, and they couldn't even get like regular chickens or turkeys because of all the weird supply chain stuff, as far as the ones that would be usually for the food market. So they had to like put off those calibration trials for a while till that they could get enough bird carcasses. So I know this isn't what was actually happening, but I was imagining like somebody going out, like scouring the grocery store.
Oh, you should come to Southern Ontario, where flocks of wild turkeys walk around eating everybody's gardens and giving you dirty looks when you come out. You come out, hey, birds, go away. And they give you these, shove off. It's my garden now.
Fair.
And I have driven along cottage roads, and there's a flock of wild turkeys on the road scavenging, and they fly up just as the bumper of my car is about to hit them. They fly up and land on the hood. Fly up and land on the hood. And they ride along a little bit and say, okay, that's far enough. I can scavenge a new part now. And then they walk off my car. Bump, 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 bump. No fear. And one of them will peck at the glass. Can I get in? No, all right.
Well, you can't do that in a car with a moose. At least the turkeys aren't going to take out the car.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do Canadians really handle mooses on the road? Do you swerve to you're driving really fast, it's dark, and suddenly a moose appears. Do you slow down or do you speed up?
Are you going to go over a precipice if you swerve?
Yes. You cannot swerve out of the way.
Okay.
You're going to hit the moose. Okay.
You slow down. It's very simple. If you hit a deer or a moose, you're going to break its legs, and the carcass is going to come through the front windshield and kill you.
Okay. See, that's what seems reasonable and logical.
It was a like moose analog, but I've seen the video of that happening. Yeah. And it was like, oh God.
Yes. Yeah. Now the one, if you have a jacked up truck, like a Ford 250, and you know how to bounce it by doing this, then you bounce it. You have to time it just right, and then you will land on the moose. The truck will have to be pulled off by a tow truck, and then you will have to be towed somewhere to pick moose out of the bottom of your truck until its wheels can touch the ground again. But you will be alive to do it.
When you land on it, do like coins come out of the top, or little?
Because this has happened to a librarian friend of mine.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. Don't think of those ladies with horn rimmed glasses and shh as demure little no pow, and then she staggered home with the moose dragging this bloody swath along the pavement, and she pulls into the driveway, and her husband can tell there's something wrong with the engine noise, and he comes out and he says, you okay? And she goes, yeah, look what I found. Can I keep it?
Well, legally, yes.
And he goes to the garage for the chainsaw to cut up dinner.
Oh wow!
Boy!
One thing I'm having to get used to, I had to get used to here, is we see wombat crossing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And with that, like, you wouldn't think it, because the wombats are biggish, but they're not huge. but these things are sturdy. So apparently, if you hit it with your car, the wombat's probably going to walk away, and your car is going to be wrecked.
I've been in a Department of Defense vehicle, Australian department, that hit a wombat, and it was like hitting a rock. No. It was like hitting a boulder.
Well, and I mean, armadillos, don't they like shred your tires? I thought like if you actually like hit an armadillo right on, I'd have to look it up, but I heard that like
get here,
the poor armadillo isn't going to walk away, but your car.
I feel like we're designing a new like that Steve Jackson Car Wars game or whatever it was, but like now instead of dropping mines and stuff, it's like you're like, what are the obstacles? What animals are going to cause the most damage to your opponent's car?
Right.
I have a new job for your cat.
Yeah.
Figurehead. It sits right on the front of the car and says, "I dare you. I dare you."
Valid.
And the moose goes, "Oh no, I'll fight with the next one." No thanks.
Yeah, cats are tough, man.
Yeah.
I mean, my parents, I was just in the car as a kid, hit a cougar, and so far as we could tell, cougar walked away. It did like $2,000 worth, and this is like a decade ago or more, $2,000 worth of body damage because it dented in the front quad panel so much you couldn't open the passenger side door of the car. Car was still drivable, but it was all that like body work kind of stuff. Because we got sort of glancing blow of it.
You have to boil a huge cauldron of water and get a really big rubber plunger. And you pour the boiling water over the car while somebody plunges. It won't fix the dent, but it'll get it open enough you can open the door. and make sure the cougar isn't lurking behind you while you do
that. So it was in the early morning. We were trying to make an early ferry off of Vancouver Island. And so like we had to keep going, and like from the ferry, we were trying to use the like payphone, ship to shore payphone to like find somebody to be like, go check if there's a cougar that's like wandering around, or they thought they saw a cub with it. So like also a motherless cub would have not been an excellent thing either. But, and the animal control said they looked and they said, yeah, they'll walk away.
And there's the cougar up on a limb somewhere going, "You bastard, you utter bastard."
Probably.
I was walking there.
I think we're beyond the age of the cougar now, but like I'm sure it was like if it knew how to see us again, it would have shaken its fist.
Oh, coming back for more, eh?
Gotta hope the cougar doesn't know where you sleep, you know?
Right?
No. Kitty cats, you're safe.
I did see a video once where these people were taking a video out the side of this Jeep that they were in. And there were these, I think they were some kind of big hunting cat. I don't recall exactly. Maybe they were cheetahs or something like that. And they were looking at them and they were just kind of lying there, relaxing. And one of them kind of perks up and looks at the truck and everybody like, "Oh, make sure you get this, and it kind of lazily comes toward them, and then it hops up on the truck and curls up on the hood and like goes to sleep. And then they were just like, "What? what do we do?"
Start driving real fast.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, when big cats are very cat-like, it's so funny.
I've seen a picture of a tiger doing a blep, and that was just like
excellent.
Oh, or like ones where they're sitting in the big cardboard boxes, and they're just sitting there.
Yeah.
It's like yes, that is choice.
I think there's some big cat sanctuaries that like specifically do that as enrichment. They do boxes for all. And most of the cats in those compilation videos, they're like, "Cool, I'm down." Big boxes, obviously, like refrigerator boxes. I wonder where you source roadkill to feed them. I wonder where you source your big boxes. for your cat sanctuary.
Well, that would be from the wrecked cargo of the truck that hit them.
Yeah, over the pandemic, I became a major cardboard architect for our cats, like because we were getting so many things via so many Amazon boxes and such that I just started building complex structures for our cats to crawl through.
I built book TARDISes because the price of lumber soared 5 times.
That is true.
You figured out how to go to Home Depot and buy the cheapest boards, like floor slats, tongue and groove floor slats and stuff, and make bookcases of them. And you put 3 of them and then put a roof on them so they don't fall over, and you have a book TARDIS. And then you build another one, then you build another one, and the cat goes, "Oh, thank you for building me this house with the climbing gym." and I said, but, and she just jumps up on a shelf and she takes her paw and goes, and the books hit the floor, and she goes, "Yes, my shelf now."
I think a book TARDIS is a brilliant idea because they're bigger on the inside, and I definitely need that room for my books. So fit even more books in my house.
Nice. just build an extension to the house. I did.
Sure, yeah.
And now 3 shipping containers later, I really should build another one.
You do have a lot of books. I've seen the pictures.
Well,
I can see the bookshelf behind you.
Oh, this is just a corner of my office. Seriously, this is my writing office.
Yeah.
Your to be read pile for the week.
Yeah, every room in the house has books. When people visit, they go and they say, "Where's your bathroom?" Because it's a long drive. I say, "Right through there." There's light switches on the outside, hook and eye to hold the door shuts on the inside, and they go popping inside and they go, "Rupert!" Because they're sitting on the toilet facing the bookshelf, and it goes up to the ceiling, and they're reading all the children's books on it. And then nobody else can use the bathroom for an hour because they're reading one children's classic after it. Oh, I read it. Oh, you've got. But yes, every room in the house. I even caught some of the gals putting the books in the shower, and I said, no. The mildew is, But yes, books do furnish a room. So if you're feeling cold wherever you are now, as opposed to Allie, who's like baking, books do furnish a room, and it's the cheapest insulation you can buy, just because they made all the rest of the insulation expensive.
I mean, fair.
So Canadians put books on all their walls, and then they drink lots of beer and fart, and that's your internal heating system. And you're nice and cozy warm. And you get no visitors.
Nice. I tried to do a good turn for my parents' cats, not building something, but they have a cat tree that's got an upper level, and then it's got a tube, and the tube has a window. And the tube window faced inside, and so you could only see into the backyard from the upper level. So I thought, aha, if I turn it so tube window faces outside and the upper level and then 2 cats, 2 vantage points, all good. Yes, right. So I turn it, and the 2 cats immediately come and sniff it like this is somehow a different object. In its rotation, it has changed smell. I don't understand. But so then I was like, look, this is the same thing. Here, I will put you on it. So I put the one of them on her favorite place on top, and then I go off and do whatever, and she goes to sleep. And then I see her that she's gotten up from her nap, and she's like doing the cat thing where she's like, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. All right. She looks at the other side. I don't know, man. I don't know. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to like upset you. And the thing was that because she uses the side of the tube to like 2 jumps down. So it's not quite 1 jump. I thought it was 1 jump, but actually she sort of halfway goes down to the tube and then goes down. She thought she couldn't get down because the tube wasn't where it was supposed to be. It like the angle was different somehow. So she thought that I had put her up on this like precipice that was too high and she could never get down again. So I lifted her down and then turned it back. And I'm like, I'm very sorry, Smoke. I did not mean to cause you distress.
But no, think of it the other way. A cat gets bored with the same old thing. You added suspense to their lives.
There we go.
You see, I'm old. See all this white hair? And I used to have teachers who would do things like have a pistol loaded with blanks in their desk. And in the middle of their lecture, their boring lecture, they would suddenly steal a hand into their desk and fire 3 or 4 gunshots. And we'd all go, whoa, whoa, whoa. And they go, good. You are paying attention.
Oh,
I'd add a
boy.
little to your life. You see, look at it that way. You're helping your cats. You're adding a little suspense to their lives. You're making their lives interesting. It's like 2 cats rule a roost, and you come home with a strange dog and dump it into the middle of them. Think of that. It's like must-watch television. It's like, something big and new is now streaming. And
Oh my
that'll
God.
probably be you with blood if you don't get out of the way. But
I actually had a teacher that would kind of do something similar, like to the not the pistol thing. Well, not quite a pistol, but they kept a baseball bat by the desk, and whenever like people were like dozing off, the baseball bat would come down right on this very specific desk. So nobody ever sat in that desk because they knew that if they did, it'd be there. And that kept up until the teacher inadvertently broke that desk in half, and then they didn't let him do the baseball bat anymore.
Oh God.
Thereby teaching you the value of perseverance.
Yeah,
All right.
looks like we're gonna take our break.
Yeah.
So.
On that note, we'll be back in a couple minutes for the actual show. Don't go away.